Tell me about a time when you helped someone who was younger than you to learn something.
My next neighbor, he wanted to learn how to play baseball, so I was teaching him how to play baseball. It wasn't easy, but I taught him.
Taught friends how to play soccer.
I helped my brother ride his bike.
When I taught my little cousin how to ride a bike.
My sister, I taught her how to how to do math.
I helped my brother learn how to play lacrosse.
I work at a camp and I teach little kids how to play hockey.
My sister, gymnastics.
My little cousin, she had definitely had a hard time with the whole learning to write her name thing.
My little brother, he used to have speech problems, and I would sit there and go over it with him.
I help my sister a lot. She'll get in a lot of fights with people, and I try to tell her it's really not worth it. You're so young. You shouldn't be getting in so many fights.
When I see two little kids arguing or something, I usually stop the fight and help them realize that fighting isn't the best way for things.
Actually, I do teach a class with little younger kids in my church. It really makes you feel good because you know that you're helping someone out.
It definitely, when you teach anyone how to do anything, it would be the simplest thing. You get some kind of reward out of it.
Yeah, he was really excited about that. I taught him, thought it was awesome just to be able to teach him that.
Just look on their face that they actually accomplished something. It's just really rewarding.
At first it was annoying, but then he finally got the game, and now he's playing baseball still for a recreation team.
At first I didn't because she's my sister and I didn't want her tagging along, but afterwards it's a good feeling if you're helping somebody.
It was frustrating, but I liked it in the end.
Just the fact of seeing her happy from getting what she learned.
Made me feel good, actually. Enjoyed it. Had fun doing it.
Yeah, I liked it because I know that I was able to help her, to get through situations in the future.
Have you ever reached out and taught someone younger than you?
Have you ever thought of yourself as a mentor?
You know, when I hear the word mentor, I think of Dumbledore from the Harry Potter movies, when he teaches Harry all about, his past and how to do magic and everything. That's what just comes to my mind when I think of mentor.
That's a good one. I actually think of Mr. Miyagi and teaching Daniel all of his training moves for karate and the Karate Kid.
Oh, I love that movie. It's true that mentors can come from all walks of life.
And while we can think of them as wizards or senseis, karate legends are other heroes.
They can be as ordinary as, the average teen on the street.
Teen mentors, that's what we'll be talking about today. Hi everyone, I'm Emily.
And I'm Jack. And this is Realfaith TV. Most of the teens in the street had experience with teaching someone younger than them.
We'll hear from them a little later in the show, as well as meet our studio guests.
But first, let's meet our spotlight guest, Anthony Renato, a star pitcher for St. Rose High School in Belmar, New Jersey, and a 2007 draft pick for the Texas Rangers.
He'll share with us his definition of a mentor.
And how growing up, he looked up to those older than him for their leadership skills.
If I had to give a definition for a mentor, I would say somebody who leads by example, who is a caring person, who can, even through tough times, stick it out and do what they have to do to help somebody. Kids look up to older kids. I know when I was younger, playing baseball, and even when I was in grammar school, and then even when I was a freshman in high school, I looked up to see what the older kids were doing. I was named as the captain of my basketball and baseball teams in 8th grade, and by the time I was a junior in high school, I was the captain of the basketball team, and I think that's from an athletic standpoint, that's where I was a leader, but I get good grades. I got good grades when I was in high school, and I felt I was a leader in the classroom, and I was National Honor Society, so I felt like I was a leader all through high school, and I think that's one of my biggest attributes as a person. I can remember a time back at my grammar school, St. Aloysius, back in Jackson, where one of the younger basketball players, he was struggling in the classroom, and I just remember he lived close to me, and so I took him in a couple weeks in a row, and we went over some math stuff, and I think it was spelling back then, and just helped him out with some of his schoolwork and stuff, and I think that helped him a lot, motivating him to get a lot of his schoolwork done, and I mean, it helped him on the basketball court because of his eligibility. That might have been one of my first leadership roles when I was back younger, and it just made me feel good about myself and just helping somebody else do that. And I think his parents really appreciated it, and it made me feel good as a person.
I think it's really good that even though Anthony excels in pretty much everything, I mean, he's National Honor Society, he's the draft pick for, a Major League Baseball team and everything, he still finds time to, you know, go out of his way and mentor people who need his help, you know, and I think that's a big deal, because a lot of times when you're, you know, that good at everything, you might tend to forget people along the way, but he seems like the kind of guy who's going to lend a helping hand to everyone who needs it.
Well, let's see what our studio guests think about this topic.
Okay, they are Mark, Gabby, Vince, Matt, Shannon, and Katie.
So what is your experience with helping out someone that's younger than you?
Well, I know in my school, we have a program where younger kids can get to know older kids, and it's called First Grade Buddies. And since I go to a Catholic school from grades pre-K to 8th grade, we get to associate with some of the first graders as 8th graders, and we help them out in different activities and really let them get to know the school so they'll be ready when they get to be our age.
I know I go on a retreat every year, and this year I was a counselor. So I worked with the preteens, and I got to talk to them a lot and set a good example for them.
Yeah, like what Gabriella said over there. In 3rd grade, we had pre-K buddies, and so we got to like hang out with the pre-Kers, teach them, you know, a little bit of stuff. And you know, I really wish that we were able to do that when we got older, but unfortunately, we didn't get that kind of an opportunity later on.
Like similar to Shannon, I also go to a camp type thing over the summer, and there, when you start as a camper and you experience it, and as you go on, you know, eventually you can become type of counselor person, and then you know you can, you know, pass on things to other little kids. This year I was fortunate to work with 12-year-olds, and that made me really happy. I got to tell them a lot, you know.
Next, let's go back to the teens in the street, where we asked them what they got out of mentoring.
And if there are people who mentored them when they were younger.
Let's check it out.
Because I know I wouldn't want to be in that type of situation, so I would try to help them avoid that situation.
You want everybody to follow what's right and just guide them to make the right decisions.
To guide them through the right path, to show them what's good and what's not good. Like drugs is not good, and get involved in like sports and stuff. Keep them out of problems like that.
Well, I love tutoring people. It just makes me feel like a good person. It makes me feel very kind.
When you were a child, was there a teenager who mentored you?
Nah, not really. I was basically a lone ranger.
No, not really. I really always like confided in my mother.
No, not really, because everybody that I hung out with was either doing bad things and doing stupid things that I didn't want to do when I grew up.
And my older cousin, Mike Beach, yeah, he lived across the street from me, and we grew up together. He was a little bit older than me, and he helped me out.
Yeah, my brothers, they taught me everything I pretty much know right now.
Yeah, my neighbor across the street always used to help me, and she taught me to ride my bike.
A pair of twins from church. They taught me and my brother how to fight less, because we used to fight all the time. But nowadays, we get along, we hang out.
Probably my older sister. I mean, we have our differences, but I look up to her a lot.
My closest friend, which is now in college, she just helped me get through a lot, like stuff that I still didn't understand when I was younger, but now I look back and I understand, and I say, thank God that person was there. Because if they weren't there, then I might not even make it this far.
When I was in middle school, we have like high school students come and like tutor you on like subjects that are hard.
How did they help you?
Explaining stuff, studying with me, and stuff like that.
Our very first mentors are usually our parents, since they model behavior for us before we even meet anybody else.
But as we get older and the world gets bigger, we start to look outside for mentors and role models.
Some of them are people we feel like we know because the media has portrayed them a certain way. Sports figures, movie stars, politicians, and musicians.
We are influenced by our family, teachers, pastors, coaches, and community leaders.
So what about you guys? Who are some of the people who mentored you, or those who continue to mentor you today?
I'd say in high school I had a really great TV1 teacher that taught me a lot about both high school and about academics, and really helped me through some difficult times in my life, and was always kind of there for me.
I have older sisters, just like someone who was on the street, and I know they mentored me a lot. You know, everything that they do, I would just watch what they do, and then, you know, I was little, I used to do the exact same thing as them, but now that I got older, they can give me some good advice.
Yeah, my grandfather, he used to mentor me all the time. He would teach me everything he knew, and you know, when he died, I was really upset because he always told me he never wanted me to be like him because he knew what he was doing when he was younger was wrong. So he was trying to make me a better person.
at that camp I attend, I feel that the proponent, the guy who organized the entire thing, Tom, when I came to the Trenton camp, he invited me to the camp that was in Pennsylvania, and I experienced so much, and I learned so much from him and the counselors that he considers part of his family. And I'm so grateful that hopefully he'll give me that opportunity to share that knowledge with people later on in life.
I know for me, my high school guidance counselor, we have a counselor for freshman, sophomore year, then one for junior, senior year. And my junior, senior year guidance counselor, he's one of the greatest guys I've ever talked to. You know, I'll go in there, like, not just for meetings, like, I'll just go into his office and be like, hey, I think I'm gonna try do theater in college. And he's like, Jack, come here, sit down. And we talk for like 3 periods. I missed like 3 different classes because we're just talking for hours about like everything. And I find that really nice. It's good to have someone that you can talk to and who can help you along the way.
Yeah, at my school, the campus minister, Mrs. Reed, I was having a really bad day. I guess like a lot of things had been building up in me, and I don't really like share my feelings that often. So I totally like had a breakdown, and I went to her office and I like told her everything that was going on. She was so accepting and she wasn't judgmental at all, which is always a good quality to have in a mentor, because I felt like I could tell her anything and she would just help me out, and she made me feel so much better after just like venting to her. So it's nice to know that she's there, especially at school.
Just like you have in your school, I have people in my entire family, and it's great because they may not be teen mentors, but they definitely are role models for me to follow.
It's great that we can surround ourselves with so many influential people in our lives, whether it be at school or in our family. And speaking of family, Anthony is going to talk about the role that his family has played in mentoring him.
And how he believes that putting yourself last and others first makes you the better person and a true role model.
I think my parents are a big influence on me. I ask my parents for guidance and what they think and their input. I respect their opinion, and I know they want what's best for me. And my brother, he doesn't live with me. He's from my dad's first marriage, but he would always come down and shoot the basketball around me, throw the baseball around, and go to the batting cages. But just as a person, he might have not been the greatest role model, but he definitely taught me things and let me know that some of the things that he did weren't necessarily the best things. And he let me learn from that. He told me a lot of stories, gave me a lot of good insight, and he was a leader in his own way. And I think I look forward every time to him coming down and just telling me how his life's going and just the things that he does every day that I could look forward to when I got older. When I was real younger, we played against one of our biggest rivals. We realized that one of their players' brothers had passed away. It was his twin brother that played on the team, and we'd been playing against him for a couple years now, and he was a big part of their team. And for him to pass away, and it was a tough situation for their team, and we realized that. We all prayed for them, and you know, and even though they were our rival, we realized the bigger situation, that a family had lost a child and a brother, and a big part of their team. And I think that we realized that. We prayed for them and hoped that their family sought the help that they needed. Yeah, winning isn't everything. As much as people say that, it's a big part of my life, but being the better person and being a good person is a lot more important. The goal is to get to heaven. It's not to win a state championship or get to the major leagues to play baseball. Being the right person all the time, putting yourself last is definitely the right step, the way to get there, to help everybody, to be the better person.
The philosopher John Donne once said, "No man is an island, everyone is part of the continent."
The truth is, we all have some influence on people in our lives, and you don't have to be a teacher or a baseball pitcher or even an adult.
As we get older, the world expands, and there are people younger than you, as well as your peers, who notice pretty much everything you do.
Not only do they notice, but every action or inaction you choose also has the potential to affect someone else.
Why is it important to help those who are younger than you?
That's what we ask the teens of the street.
Let's check it out.
People that are younger than them are always looking up to them. Like, I mean, when I was younger, I looked up to everyone that was older than me, and even if you're not teaching them something, you got to do the right thing because they're always watching, so they're going to think that's the right thing to do.
They've been through what we've been through, and it's closer in our day, so they would really know like what to do when doing certain situations.
Show good actions for the little kids so they do the good things when they get older.
I think it helps them become a better person. Like if they can teach something, then they get something out of it for themselves too.
Because think about it, you help somebody else, then one day you're gonna need help in your life, and that person that you help is gonna help you.
So when the younger kids grow up, they try to do that for somebody else.
Because you have more experience, so if you have more experience, you're kind of teaching them something so they don't have to go through it themselves.
If you're older, that means you have more experience. The more experience you have, the better you are at helping people. It's called wisdom. Share your wisdom with those younger than you. If you don't share your wisdom, the younger ages will grow up to be nothing but punks.
It's never too late, but it's harder when they're older.
To like help and give back.
Do you think a teen mentor could teach someone younger than them something that their parents or teachers couldn't? What are some examples of this?
I like talking to my peers a lot better. I mean, times change. So when you talk to your peers, for me, I feel more comfortable.
Definitely, I agree. I think that we can relate more to like our friends and people our age than we can to our parents, you know?
And I think even though history repeats itself and a lot of the same different instances happen in life, like Shannon said, time does change. Therefore, there are new things arising that some of our parents might not have, been through or might not have anticipated, or that teachers, aren't prepared for.
And since times change, you always have to look for someone who has the most recent experience, and sometimes your parents aren't the one to go to. You're going to have to go to some of your teen mentors.
Yeah, I have to agree that, because our peers are our age, they'll look at us before they'll look at their parents because they'll just be able to relate to them a lot quicker.
Yeah, I find a lot of times people don't listen to their parents with some things because they're like, oh, whatever, Like if parents say don't smoke, it's a lot of kids are just like, okay, yeah, whatever. But then like if your friend comes up to you and you're lighting up a cigarette and it knocks it out of your hand, they're like, don't smoke. What are you, crazy? Like, I think you'll take that a little more seriously than if your parents say the same thing, Yeah,
I know that I feel more comfortable around my friends, and like sometimes I feel like talking about certain things with my parents, it's just like touchy subjects and stuff, especially with teachers. But I always make sure before I go to a friend for advice or try and solicit their help that they have the same values as me, because I don't want someone to misguide me into thinking that something's right or appropriate when it's not.
And it's always good to have people who set good examples around you so that when you set examples, they're good as well. But when it comes to being a teenager, you don't have much of a choice about having some impact on others, and ignoring the fact won't make it go away.
Instead, it's a great opportunity to be a mentor like the one you would like to have.
Next, Anthony tells us why he thinks he's a good mentor.
And how he hopes to one day see those he mentors surpass him in his achievements.
I feel like I do a lot of moral, good things, good moral things, and I feel like I'm a good leader, like I said, and I try to lead by example. And I think a lot of younger students, even at my high school, and like you said, on the baseball field, they look up to me and try to do the things that I do. Definitely the type of work ethic and things that I try to do that way, I think they do. They try to get themselves better and realize that things that I've done have made me successful, and a couple other seniors that played with us. And I think they just try to follow in our footsteps. I've been a pitcher at St. Rose for 4 years, right-handed pitcher. I received a scholarship following my junior year of baseball at school to play at Louisiana State. And last Friday I was drafted by the Texas Rangers in the 11th round, 350th overall in the first-year players draft. And now I have to choose whether to go down to Louisiana to play baseball for 3 years at college, or to go play professionally and start my career in the minor league system. Whether I decide to play professionally or go down to Louisiana to play, I think that I would have supporters either way, and I think that just my actions have spoke for me, and I think that even the people from my hometown and people here in Belmar from St. Rose are just, they support me, and just knowing that makes me feel a lot real strong about myself and makes the decision easy. I could hope it would have an effect on the people to follow. I would hope it would affect students at St. Rose, the players at St. Rose, and they would want to follow my footsteps to be better than me, make the program even better. And I hope that when I'm eventually a father, and I have a nephew right now, I hope that they would want to be better than me and accomplish more than me. And that way it just pushes them to be better people, and exceed their talents and to be better than I am.
Mentoring is about building relationships, passing on life skills, being a resource, and helping someone understand their community.
But instead of being stuck in a boring classroom or a large group situation, we teach on an individual basis, by example more than words.
Jesus did this with his disciples. Most of them he would instruct by example.
By letting the woman who was caught in adultery go free instead of stoning her, by healing those who came to him without question, and by inviting the children to come to him.
One of the most significant examples of his mentorship was at the Last Supper, when he blessed the bread and said, "Do this in remembrance of me."
He called his disciples to action and to imitate him.
Next, Anthony shares with us how his relationship with God has given him confidence to excel in all he does.
And how it's important to find faith in God within you before passing it on to others.
Just knowing that, that God's with you and that nothing that I've accomplished or anybody else in my senior class and my friends it all comes from God, and just knowing that, just appreciating that, just helps us a lot. Maybe not everybody's forte is in athletics, and I respect that 100%, that hopefully they can give 100% in whatever they do, in academics, leadership, or even serving my best friend's going into the military. He's going to be in the Marines, and I support him 100%. I think that's awesome. He knows what he's doing with his life, and just being a leader at St. Rose, tutoring kids and helping them out with schoolwork, I think that's great, and I support everybody 100%, and I hope they can be successful with their lives. Just all the people that I met, even playing sports, is unbelievable. It helps me with my people skills and being sociable and just being a leader, and having the experience of playing and getting to know people and helping them out allows me to be a good leader, I think. And I feel God's chosen me to be a well-rounded person to help younger people, and not just athletically, but just help them in the classroom, whatever they need, being themselves a leader, maybe when they get older, or anything that they do that I can support them and help them out. Back in the fall, we went on Kairos, a religious retreat for the senior class. The biggest thing that amazed me was the student leaders. I think that the faith that they had and the leadership that they gave us was unbelievable. You do have to find God in yourself before you can pass it on to somebody else. And that's what I did. I found God within the student leaders. Once they passed that on to me, I was hoping to pass it on through my senior year, because I was early in my senior year. I was hoping to pass it on to other students, and I hope I did that by the time I left.
So how can someone's relationship with God guide them to become a responsible mentor?
I feel that someone's relationship with God can really help them, because if they're on the right spiritual journey and if they're going in the right place with their life, they'll be a light to other people, and people will come to them with questions and just look up to them as a general role model because of the way they portray themselves and live their life.
Also, I think that if you have an affirmed faith, when someone comes to you with a question about faith or a question about, spiritual concern, you can give a good basis of advice off of, good Christian morals. And therefore, regardless of how they feel, you can tell them how you feel and see if they can relate.
And also with a relationship with God, if you're close enough with him, he could use you as an instrument, and you could really have the right things to say to that person if God can use you.
In the song Give Us Clean Hands, Christian singer-songwriter Charlie Hall includes the lyrics, "Oh God, let us be a generation that seeks your face."
He's encouraging us to mentor to others in our faith, to bring the love and strength of God to those who need it most.
Have you or anyone you know ever mentored to another in your faith?
Has anyone ever guided you closer to God?
That's what we ask the teens on the street.
Let's check it out.
My older sister has. She sponsored me for my confirmation. I haven't really helped anybody younger than me. I was going to sponsor my brother, but I was too young.
The twins from my church helped me a lot, but I have yet to have the chance to talk to the younger group. I haven't really had the chance, but I would.
Last summer, there's a mosque, and I go help the younger kids study and stuff like that.
I've helped someone recognize their faith more, and they've realized that God loves everybody.
I worked a retreat for my church for 2 years, and it was a lot of fun.
I helped this little kindergartner learn about God and teach her about Jesus and stuff on my bus.
With going to a Catholic school my whole life, I've had so many opportunities to reach out to others and mentor them through retreats and music ministry, and I was even my cousin's confirmation sponsor this year, just like the girl on the street. And it was really overwhelming and humbling at the same time, because I know that I can be there for him for the rest of his life because I was his sponsor, and just help guide him to God whenever he needs it.
My mom, she teaches religion at church, and my sister as well. and I see how it impacts the kids, and I really think that's awesome, and I think I might want to do that one day.
Well, I'm able to mentor the peers in my school by singing in the choir and encouraging them to participate in the liturgy as well.
Yeah, at my school they do a lot of retreats and stuff that I've been on, and a lot of like service trips. Whenever I go there, I always feel like this great sense of community, and like there's a lot of older people that I feel like I can look up to and like get advice from them. So one day I hope to, lead a retreat or something like that in return.
Yeah, I feel what Katie does there. I was on a retreat once and I had someone mentor me, and I only hope that I can give that feeling back to someone on another retreat or at some point in my life.
As a mentor, Faith is a powerful companion, as it has probably helped you learn from past mistakes that you can help others not to repeat them.
You have personal experience on your side, and no one can argue with that.
Most of all, your peers need leadership. They need people they can trust to step up to the plate and encourage them, guide them, and care about them.
Most likely, adults have never faced the exact same issues and struggles in our generation. So what better way to help our peers than to be a mentor?
Pick someone who can be your mentor so that by their inspiration, you can better mentor your peers.
How has your faith helped you become a better teen mentor?
We'd love to hear from you.
Contact us through our website.
The address is www.realfaithtv.com.
Or you can call us at 609-406-7402.
And we'll leave you today with the words of Pope John Paul II at the 1993 World Youth Day.
Christ has made you his ambassadors, the primary evangelizers of your contemporaries.
As an ambassador, you're the representative of your faith.
This is the model of mentoring that shows others what we have learned and what we believe.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time on
Real Faith TV. God bless.